wanting to. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the things that I could be talking about. And there's many things. But I don't know. I don't want to talk. Like, I want to talk, but I don't want to talk. The information I've been studying, I kind of just want to keep it to myself right now until I really fully understand it. Studying palm reading, astrology. I did my makeup and everything for this, but I don't know, like I just feel so awkward. And I don't know what to talk about. You know what life's been feeling like? Life's been feeling like what I've been going through is this, I think this new motivation to be new and to allow myself to be new, like a new person, and to not feel so much guilt for being new, and to be consistent with being new. Find a grounding for being new, what it is that you want to keep from your old, and what it is that you want to get rid of. Accepting that you don't have to do everything that I don't have to do everything that everybody else is doing. You don't have to do everything that everybody else is doing. You can do it in your own way. Just like taking a step back from the collective and the people, because sometimes you could start to feel really guilty for not being so involved with the outside world. But the outside world, and this is what I want to talk about, the outside world is going to be the outside world. Like, no matter what times you live in, our parents, their parents have lived in a time that there was chaos and that there was harmony, and that's the balance of everything. From within self, you have, that's why they always do the devil's advocate. You have the devil and you have the angel. So you have a duality within you, a feminine and masculine energy flowing through you. You have and these are just words that you use to define them, because for the most part, a lot of it is undefinable. Because it's like it's a balance of, like, I could be a bitch and I could be really nice, and that's just like surface level silly balance. But you can imagine going deeper within self. You are made up of so many different things, and I mean in terms of like energies. So I firmly believe in your birth chart and reading, where all the planets were during when you were born, where the sun, the moon, Mercury, I think Venus is the fifth one, so it's the fourth. It's not Mars. My book of shadows. I'm so funny. the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus. Oh, she has 4. Venus, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and everything else. North Node, Lilith, that comes up. Ascending node, I think, but I haven't really gotten to what that means exactly yet. But all those things matter, and there's an energy that comes with those forces. There are stars in the sky that holds energies beyond what you can actually see, what you believe, and what people have failed to explain to you, pretty much. And that everything that happens is all for all within divine reasoning and inevitable, I should say, because it is written. And if it's written, that means it's already there, and that is bound to, happen. So one of the things that helped me realize that was studying Pluto, the planet Pluto, in whatever sign it's in. When I'm looking at a birth chart, when I'm looking at anybody's birth chart, what I noticed, and I'm sure this is information somewhere, but what I noticed and what I've learned is that there are, the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Mars, and Saturn, the furthest will go is Saturn. All those planets have a faster rotation around the sun, or have the fastest, from the moon being the closest, and Mercury and everything, those are the closest ones to the sun. They're rotating faster, so they're in different signs, astrological signs, shorter time. So it's very unique to your own birthday. But when you go past Saturn and go down to Uranus, there was this kid at 14th Street Union Square, and he was making a joke with his mom, and I'm listening to him because I'm nosy, and he's like, "Mom, look, Onion Square." And I thought that was so funny, because I'm like, I've never read it like that, but it could be Onion Square, onion. Because if you spell onion the regular way, ONION, it's like onion. So Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are the furthest planet, and Pluto being the furthest. So its rotation around the sun takes 200 years. I think it takes 250 years. Get my notes. Uranus takes 250 years to orbit around, 248 years orbit around the sun, and spends approximately 21 days in a sign on average. So 21 days? No, 21 years. Yeah, it takes 21 years. I'm so sorry. It takes 248 years for it to orbit around the sun, and it's about 21 years. Oh my God, Kayla, what the fuck? 21 years in one sign. So, that's how slow it moves. So all the people who are born within your generation, will have the same Pluto in whatever sign. It'll all be the same. So people who were born in my generation, 1991, 1992, 1989, 1990, how long ago? I don't know. 1990. So people in my age group, we were born during Pluto and Scorpio. So for the most part, everyone who's around your age is going to have the same Pluto and Scorpio. It says from 83 to 95. I wrote this down. I was studying Mount Hard yesterday. I even went to a museum yesterday to see about the, we'll talk about that later. So we can start with Pluto and Scorpio, since this is the one that, if you're watching this, you were probably born between 83 and 95 for the most part. Pluto and Scorpio. Pluto is the strongest in Scorpio because that's its home sign, I guess we call that. I don't know the right word for it. I can't think about it. But because Pluto is the planet of power, change, death, and rebirth and evolution, sex, unconscious, primal. So it's very like change. Like it's a very cold and hard, tempered planet. This quote, it wasn't a quote, it was a sentence in a thing I was reading. Change is impossible without death. That's what Pluto was saying, if you had the conversation with Pluto. So you could think, if you associate death, if you think about death and all the things that's associated with change is impossible without death, you just have to completely like be torched and dead for you to be reborn, and for you to go all the way there is huge. So it's a very intense planet. So Pluto and Scorpio, it's a time for transformation. There's gonna be an advanced medicines have been happening during this time, advanced healing, psychology, occult, genetics. What's hidden comes to light, intense personal change, inner transformation. During this time, from 83 to 95, the society was feeling that all over the world for 20, this one says 10 years, so on average 20 years. Well, here and more or less, you know what I mean? So this is the first generation to relieve itself of past traumas, sexual and emotional traumas, which makes a lot of sense because people who are my age right now are going through this whole, like, especially people who are closest to me, have this really great understanding about self-healing and inner strength and believing beyond what we've been taught. So I can see how we'll be the first generation to actually come out of the traumas. Everyone is so focused on healing their traumas right now. So during this time, during 83 to 95, the Clinton affair came out. Oil wars, Middle Eastern interest, and those three things I wrote down. There was more, but I was really interested in the Clinton affair coming out because this is when we started to hold people accountable for their sexual misconduct, especially now. It started during Pluto and Scorpio. Things that were being done in the dark were coming out now. Like everybody's little secrets in the world were coming out during that time because it's a Scorpio. They have hidden secrets and they have things that they're digging in and digging out. Interests me the most because that's when the war started in the Middle East, and it was a high interest in the Middle East, and that was like such a hot topic and such a it was the hot topic at that time. And of course it continued on, but whatever starts somewhere, I feel like kind of leaks into other things and kind of goes back and forth. Whatever's exploded. So, but it's interesting because when they talk about the occult and that's something that's done in the dark, the Middle Eastern interest was definitely raises a flag that during this time, that's when they started to kind of mess with the Middle Eastern people. And I believe in Middle Eastern magic 100%, and that a lot of the magic that we practice comes from Europe and Africa and Asia. So there's such a lot of magic that I've been close to it comes from there too. It's along with here in the United States, but they've already genocide already happened to Native Americans. So we're talking about the Middle East right now. But yeah, in the Middle East, that was interesting to me. And oil that they're digging up oil from the ground, like shit like that is like the times go with the signs and where the planets are. And then we have 95 to 2008, and that's Pluto and Sagittarius. And during this time, so Pluto and Sagittarius, I'm just gonna read a little bit about it, but it's about violent religious fanaticism, fear of long distance travel, political mistrust, childhood abuse, religious warfare. There's a lot of religion involved in this. Highest power, personal truth, examine our deepest beliefs. And that's when 9/11 happened. It was so interesting. They said long distance travel because Sagittarians like to travel. I like to associate them with the gypsies. So for them to be long distance travel, fear of travel, and 9/11 happened, that's exactly what made people not want to travel. Was something like that happening, and people were just like, I'm not getting on a fucking airplane. Which is crazy. The Catholic Church exposed, Iraqi wars, Bush reign, all that stuff is crazy. And then Capricorn is the one we're in now. It's in 2024, which is going to be real cool because it is Capricorn is definitely a planet that does not accept change that well, and Pluto is the planet of change, so there's definitely a lot of friction going on, and it's very loud. Government successes and issues, outdated techniques fall away, revolution, anarchy happening right now. Also, Pluto is the planet for Black people and the Black race. I would say probably more so because of the nature of it too, but also in the way that it can hold secrets and traumas deep within. I feel like Black people definitely have a resilience for that. I haven't looked into why it's related to Black race, but I read that somewhere. I thought that was interesting and doesn't make sense. So that's when Obama became president, which is crazy. 2008 to 2024, and then for I don't know, I don't think it's on a small scale, but the love of Blackness and the pride in being Black is definitely taking a rocket tail and has skyrocketed into space. It's really true and it's really real. It's happening. So I can see how that's happening right now. They don't have any information for Pluto in Aquarius, and that's in 2024, and probably around 2050 it'll be over. I don't know. I have some educated guesses. So I'm gonna say 2024. It's about 20 to 30 years more. It's 2045 to 2050. I said it's gonna be a new wave of thinking. I think that's why Kanye has been coming out so much, because he's gonna be a pioneer. It's crazy to say, and I'm definitely a fan of his with music and everything, but he's definitely going to be a pioneer when it comes to the way of thinking. I know a lot of men who are just like, their mind is progressive, and it doesn't match what we've been taught and the way we've been thinking before. So I can see how, like, in that time, when I'm in my the age is in that prime, especially the adult person, and then the children being born that time, it's just going to be like crazy smart. But I think that it's going to be a lot of new thinking, a foundation for future generations, in terms of a new completely way of like living in the world altogether. Solitude, a lot of self-reflection work, collective work too. Huge collective work. People have been working together really greatly lately. The bigger picture is going to be the main concern. It's not going to death of wealth, new value of intellect, space travel, aliens will visit. Like, this is crazy. New information will rise, truth of God, evolution of human truth, soul arise, body dies. Eating for enlightenment. It's going to be an enlightening time in 2024 and beyond. And with, those good things also comes, the negative too. So if this is happening with the people, you can think about what happens with the government. And if, you never know what's going to happen. I'm not going to lie to you. We have about 5 years before 2024 and 25 come. But between 5 and 6-7 years. So within that time, it could really be a whole revolution and a whole shift in the way that the world has been moving. A lot of the people that are in government now are older. Their ways of thinking are very old, and you can see it in even the Brett Kavanaugh and Ford. I can't remember her first name, but just seeing how the interaction of him is just like, nobody's gonna, like, you're looking at this man and he's being so weird and so like defensive. You can look at him and see the child in him, you know. Like, it's just like one of those things that's like, that's not gonna hold up anymore. It doesn't hold up anymore to be like, what, like me, like never, like that doesn't hold up. That white boy shtick doesn't hold up anymore. And I feel like the death of that is the reason why the actions that's going around that and holding all these men accountable is exposing a new face. So it's making you, it's killing out. People are just like, that doesn't work anymore, and it can't be here anymore. There's no space for it, and it could literally be obsolete soon. It could just be completely gone, and the attitude could be gone and completely shift who we see in these government offices, you know, if that's so important to, you know, you in terms of how Pluto works. But you know, see who we see in those government offices, and you know, who we trust and who we believe now, and how things will be run, and you know, the care for other people in certain, you know, degrees and levels. Is going to be, of course, continued oppression and continued, you know, fights against the most silliest of things. We're human beings. We're going to do things like that. And then, you know, we're not on everybody's new wave thinking now. Some people are still thinking old shit, you know. So it's, you know, one of those balanced things. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm excited. That's what I've been studying. I've been studying a lot of other things too, but studying that made me really excited. I wanted to talk about the art too, but that's going to be like, this is already 20 minutes. So we can talk about that another time, I guess, if you care. But yeah, I mean, this is nothing special. This is just me sharing what I've been learning, and just wanted to like get a new spot for my videos and see how I look in this corner, and you know, test things out and stuff. So